Hey there, sweet friend. I'm Katie, a Jesus loving, coffee drinking, dream chasing, joy filled wife and mama. And I'm here to help you grow in wisdom, walk in freedom, and live a genuinely joy filled life. In other words, I'm super passionate about helping you build a life that you're happy about living. And it's not actually that hard to do. I've discovered that you don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. You just have to take the one next step and then the next step. Life is really a series of choices or baby steps, if you will. And today we're going to talk about some of those little choices that will add up in a really big way. So I've grouped these little choices, those baby steps, into two different categories: the input of your life and the output of your life. By taking a look at the input and the output areas of your life, I'm going to show you exactly how you can fine tune those little daily choices that you're making every day so that you can create the life that you want, all while finding joy in the journey. Does that sound good? Awesome. Before we dial in on the input and the output of your life, we have to first make sure that you know where you want to go. Like, what does your ideal life look like? We need to intentionally pause and paint the picture of your ideal life. So if you think about your life as a race, during a race or a marathon, the runner knows exactly where she's going. She knows what the finish line looks like, and she knows how it will feel when she reaches it. Her eyes are fixated on her destination, and her focus is laser sharp. The runner has a vision, a goal, a target, and she shakes off all distractions. She's not looking around her. She's not looking behind her. She doesn't compare herself to the runners beside her. She simply marches on or runs on towards the thing that she wants. Your ideal life is like that. It's there waiting for you, but you have to know what it looks like in order to grasp it, to touch it, to experience it, to live it. A lot of people say that they wish they were happier or more driven or more successful or more this or more that. And the truth is that a lot of people sit and watch with jealousy as others chase their dreams and live their ideal life. The ones who sit stubbornly refusing to take action, they often feel sad or embarrassed or jealous or even angry that they don't have that marriage, those kids, that dream job, that genuine joy. Yet they've never even taken the time to define what their ideal life looks like. Like, they don't even know what happiness would look like, even if they did, quote unquote, find it or get there. So take a second and think about, what is the life that you want? What does genuine happiness look like for you? If you could wake up tomorrow and have the perfect day play out before you, what would it look like? Consider what's most important to you. Where do you want to be on a personal or spiritual level? What do you want your health to look like? How do you want to treat your spouse and your kids on a daily basis? What do you want your work to look like? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want the 9-to-5 job with steady income? Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom? How do you define time freedom? And what kinds of things do you want to be doing in your free time? Like, think about, if you had an open free weekend, exactly how would you spend it? What would you do? Where would you go? Who would you go with? Consider, what is your life's purpose and calling, and what would it look like to walk that out? Side note, if you need help figuring out what your life's purpose is, you can download my free purpose guide at katiehedrick.com/purpose guide, and it'll walk you through a process, and I'll help you figure that out. But I encourage you to spend some time carefully considering and writing down, like physically writing down, what your ideal life would look like. Because, sweet friend, we have to define before we can do. We have to consider, what is the end goal? If you're already living your ideal life, that is awesome. That's great. But there's always room for more growth and more improvement. You might assume that I am living my ideal life right now, and I am doing what I love to do, but I know in my heart that there's absolutely room for growth. I still have work to do, and I will continue to have work to do. until the day that I die. We are not called to be stale or stagnant. We were created to dig in and to keep growing. And it's the reason that God gave us a book full of wisdom to dig into when he gave us the Holy Bible. I would never say that I've arrived, but I will say that I am creating the life that I want to live on a daily basis. And I am definitely finding joy in the journey. Are you ready to know how I do it? My secret is really simple, actually. It's through the input and the output of my life. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, Katie girl, what the heck are you even talking about? Well, here's what I'm talking about. The input of our life is what we are consuming. It's the things that are seeping into our heart and our mind. The output of our life is what we are producing or what we're putting out in the world. It's like the fruit of our life, so to speak. Let's talk about the input of our life. This is huge. The things that you're consuming are either nourishing you or poisoning you. These things are literally transforming your heart and mind, and then they're being regurgitated out of your mouth, and those things are becoming your life. If you don't believe me, then do a little self-assessment. Take a look at the things that you're consuming. TV and media. Oh my goodness gracious. I probably shouldn't even get started on this because at our house, we watch very, very little TV. And in fact, I'm seriously considering as we're building a new house and possibly not even putting a TV in the house. That's a whole nother story. But think about what you're consuming on TV and media. It's all negative. The news, the politics, the doom and gloom. Everyone's talking about everything that's going wrong. And on top of that, all your TV really is a giant box in your living room that's advertising to you and selling you a bunch of stuff that you don't even need or necessarily even want. So there's my 2 cents on TV. Social media, the social media that you're consuming, all these glossy photos and so-and-so's perfect life that you're only seeing the outside of the glossy photos, it's causing you to play the comparison game, and it's causing you to feel terrible about yourself. And you're seeing all these political opinions, and you're seeing supposedly what's cool, what's not cool, who's cool, what to do, what to say, what to wear, how to think, how to speak, how to act, who you should vote for, all the things. Like, have you ever paused and considered what you're consuming on social media? That's sinking deep into your heart and mind, and it's coming out. And it's those feelings and thoughts that are being created as a direct result of what you're consuming on social media. That, my friend, is becoming your life. Let's talk about the friends that you hang out with, and let's talk about the input on your life there. You've often heard me talk about your 5 tribe. Who are the 5 people that you're spending the most time with? What do their lives look like? Are they happy, full of joy, optimistic, honorable, productive, kind, hardworking? Does love show in their life? Or are you hanging out with friends who are gossiping about their job and their spouse and their kids and their extended family members, and they're griping and, oh my gosh, the weather is terrible and all the things are terrible. All the political candidates are terrible. Everything is terrible. Like, what? Like, think about who you're hanging out with and what is being dripped into your heart and your mind through those people. Show me your friends and I will show you your future. These things are shaping our life, and we should be protecting our eyes and our ears in order to protect our heart and our mind. I've told my kids this story where back in high school, I remember I had gone to a friend of mine's birthday party, and all the other girls, all these other high school girls, they all wanted to watch this really scary movie. And honestly, it was the Holy Spirit burn. And I had these like weird vibes about it, these weird feelings, but everybody wanted to watch this scary movie. So I did. I sat through it, and it was terrible, and I hated every second. And here's what happened that night in my dreams. Those terrible images actually came out. They had sunk so deep into my heart and my mind that those images came out in my dreams, the things that we're watching on TV. So I've shared with my kids, if we're in that position, we have to be so careful and really protect our eyes and our ears from what we're consuming. It's okay to say no. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to say, I'm not going to consume this or watch this or listen to this, because I know that it is going to in turn shape my life. And I'm working towards living my ideal life. And this is not for me. I love this quote by Christine Kane. She says, I'm as vigilant about what I keep out as I am what I put in. That's so good. And that's like hand in hand with the whole protecting our eyes and our ears to protect our heart and our mind. Friend, it's time that we stop consuming crap. I'm just going to be honest and blunt and rip it off like a Band-Aid. It's time that we stop consuming crap. And it's time that we start consuming wisdom. What does that look like? Well, I will tell you that the Holy Bible is the greatest book of wisdom that has ever been breathed or written. So that's a great place to start. You'll find a ton of rich wisdom inside the book of Proverbs in the Bible. I also have something called Wisdom Wednesdays, and you can check it out at katiehedrick.com/Wisdom Wednesdays, where every Wednesday morning I send out an email and it contains a chapter out of the book of Proverbs. So that's like a really easy, digestible way to dig into the book of Proverbs each and every week and to grow in wisdom. I also have other resources available for you. My podcast, which is a much better choice than TV or social media. Not only my podcast, but there are many, many other good ones out there. Like I love Christine Cain's podcast. It's called Equip and Empower, and it is full of rich biblical wisdom. We can choose to read books over TV and social media. There are a jillion good books out there. And here's the thing. Any of them that are rooted in goodness and truth actually came originally out of the scripture, because every concept and idea that is good and true and pure came out of the Holy Bible in its origin. I also have an ebook that you can download for free at katiehedrick.com/ebook, and it'll talk about everything we're talking about here today and so much more. Lots of rich wisdom for you there. But here's the bottom line. Here's what you need to know. What you are consuming, the input of your life, is going to shape your life. It's going to change the way that you think and act, and it's going to spill out from your heart and then out of your mouth, and it is going to literally become your life. Jesus taught this in Luke 6:45. I love this. He said, the good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure produces evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks. So good. That being said, let's talk about the output area of your life. What are we producing? What are we putting out into the world? We have to consider this because our actions and our words, they're so powerful. In fact, Proverbs 18:21, one of my favorite scriptures forever and always, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Literally, life and death. Marinate on that. Let that sink in. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. In other words, our words have the power to create life. So we have to be very intentional about speaking life. What are you speaking over yourself and over others? Those things are manifesting in your life. As a woman, as a wife and a mom, I love this. Proverbs 14:1. The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down. And Proverbs 31:26, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. So as a woman, as a wife and a mom and an influencer in our home and in our community and in our workspace and with our kids and with our spouse and in our church and in all on social media and all the places that we have influence, what kind of things are we speaking? Are we speaking life, or are we speaking death? Because that's going to manifest. As a mom especially, and as a wife, this is a really powerful concept. Like, what are you speaking? Because our mission field starts at home. What are you speaking over your spouse and over your kids? It's going to manifest, and you don't have to take my word for it. Like, it's right there black and white in the Bible. That's God's word. That's the final word. In my opinion, my word doesn't matter. God says that the words we speak are powerful and that they are going to manifest in our life. So it's time that we speak life and that we act upon it. And then, as I said, actions. What are you doing? Like, what are the literal things that you are doing? What are the actions that you're taking on a daily basis? What type of things are you walking out in a literal sense, and do they align with your ideal life? Do you say that you want to have a deep relationship with Jesus? Okay. Are you reading your Bible, or is it sitting on your bookshelf collecting dust? Have you cracked it open since church last Sunday? I've been guilty of this before. I've gone a whole week and then been like super convicted, like, oh my goodness, like I didn't even crack my Bible this week and I want to have a deep relationship with Jesus, right? We can pray, we can talk to God, we can spend time in nature and creation with him. But he wants to have relationship with us, and he gave us the Holy Bible to dig into on a frequent basis. So do your actions show that you want to have a deep relationship with Jesus? And you don't have to prove it to me. You don't have to show it to me or tell me or anyone else. We each need to assess our own actions in our own life. Do you say you want to be healthy? Are you exercising and eating proteins and greens, or are you binging out watching Netflix with a monster in one hand and a bag of chips in the other hand? Like what is our action? Is it in alignment with our desire to have this healthy life? Do you want to have a thriving marriage? Are you investing into it? Are you honoring and respecting your spouse? Are you doing the things that you can do to help lighten his load? Are you picking up his laundry without grumbling? Are you edifying him instead of gossiping about him behind his back to your girlfriends? Are you meeting his physical needs even when you're tired? Okay, ladies, I've been there, right? But it's our actions. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice in love. It is the output of our life. We want the thriving marriage, then we need to do the things it takes to have the thriving marriage. We need to follow through on what we're saying we desire with our actions. Side note, the book, The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman, is a really incredible book. We could do a whole nother episode on that. But if thriving marriage is what you're looking for, I highly recommend that book, The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. So do you want to raise honorable, kind, productive human beings? Are you spending time pouring into your kids and choosing to be present and teaching them the things that they need to know? Or are you numbing out when you're with your kids and maybe scrolling through your phone and you're only half listening? Like, if you don't talk to your kids and connect on a deep level now and ask them about their day and the things that are going on in their life and the things that they're passionate and excited about, and then listen, like deeply listen and connect with them. If you are not listening now, what makes you think that someday when they're grown up, they're going to want to even talk to you and share those things with you? If you can't listen now, they're going to pick up on that and they're not even going to want to share those things with you down the road. Do you want to cultivate great relationships and meaningful connections? Well, are you creating a time and a space to actually get together with your girlfriends? Or are you hiding behind excuses and always finding a reason why you can't? Guys, I get it. I'm busy. I promise you I'm as busy as you are. But bless my friend's heart. I have this one girlfriend who I love. I have a lot of awesome girlfriends, but my girlfriend Alicia is like, she's all about like personal connection and getting together in person, and is like, she like gently encourages me to do that thing. And like every time that we do get together, I get together with girlfriends, like my bucket is filled and I am reminded that it is such an important and integral part of cultivating great and meaningful relationships is spending time together in person. Are you doing that? Do you want to start a business? Well, are you pouring your free time into researching and doing the things that it will take to get there? Or are you spending your free time watching Netflix and scrolling Facebook and Instagram? I can tell you personally, if you have a business or something on your heart that you want to start, spending every waking free moment that you have investing into that and growing yourself to learn how to do that thing will be 100% worth it. I am telling you that from experience. This podcast is actually a direct result of me diving in and learning all the things that I did not know, because guess what? There were a lot of things that I did not know. There's still a lot of things that I do not know, but I'm all about being a lifelong learner and digging in and doing the work to achieve those goals, do those things I want to do, live that life that I want to live. So I want to ask you, do your actions line up with your ideal life? We were created to take action. We are called to take action. Check this out. This is going to blow your mind. Matthew 25:14-30. And this is Jesus teaching. This is the parable of the talents. For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. And then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. In action. You're seeing in action here. Now, after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more. He went to work. He doubled his money. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here I have made 2 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours. Oh my gosh, there's so much goodness in here. You see inaction, and you see that inaction rooted in fear, which for the record does not come from God. He did not give us a spirit of fear or timidity, right? But a spirit of love and self-control and courage. So inaction, so he hid the talents, and his master says to him, You wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I scatter no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was mine with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Woo! So which one do you want to be? You want to be the good and faithful servant? Or do you want to be the wicked, slothful servant, drowning in fear and choosing inaction? Consider that story as you're thinking about the output of your life. Okay, we've worked on defining your ideal life, and we've talked about the input and the output of your life. So how will you know if you're quote unquote getting there? The answer is simple. The fruit of your life will show it. Circle back to your ideal life. The fruit of your life will be in alignment with the life that you want to live, and there will be joy. We all know those people who hate their life, the ones that are miserable. They may, fakely on the outside be smiling and trying to put on this front to everyone that their life is perfect and great and that they're awesome. And we know that they go home at night and that they're lonely and sad and depressed and broken and jealous and ugly inside, right? And behind closed doors, they're gossiping about other people and they're talking about how bad things are. And on the flip side, we all know some beautiful, beautiful, incredible, joy-filled people who are creating and living the life of their dreams. We know them because the fruit of their life shows it. Like they radiate love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Check out Galatians chapter 5 for more on that. That's a great chapter to deep dive into. And maybe eventually on the podcast, we will dive into the fruit of the Spirit, because that's some good stuff right there. So as we come to a close, dear friend, let's recap. How do we create the life that we want while finding joy in the journey? We define our ideal life. We clean up the inputs. We be intentional with the outputs. And we consistently examine the fruit. Sweet friends, I want to invite you once again to snag my ebook. It's a free download. You can get it at katiehedrick.com/ebook. It's called 7 Habits of Happiness. Lots of great, rich wisdom in there, all rooted in truth from the scriptures. So I want to invite you to go download that if you're looking for some wisdom-filled inputs for your life. And I hope that you enjoyed today's content. I hope that it was impactful for you. I hope that it cause you to stop and pause and really think about your ideal life and really evaluate the input and the output. And then to take a moment and really look at the fruit of your life, kind of as a heart check to see where you're at in living that ideal life. Until next time, sweet friend, continue living joyfully.